Doing calisthenics skills with bad form is either the best piece of advice that you'll ever receive or the worst. Okay, let's go on to the positive side first. So when you do bad form, you're basically saying to your body that I am going to perform this specific movement, but just decrease the intensity, because at the end of the day, form is an intensity, right? Like when you do a 90-degree handstand push-up and you use whip tech and momentum boost by flicking your lower back and then trying to just catch your elbows into your waist, you're technically doing bad form. But that type of bad form is not going to cause you injuries because it is almost some type of cheating movement. The type of bad form that you want to avoid is when you're doing a planche press and you're internally rotating your biceps too early during the planche press, and so then when you're at the top 45-degree part of the planche press, your shoulders are internally rotated and you're going to start to damage your rotator cuff when doing planche. So lots of people, they view bad form as something that is detrimental to the training, but when used the right way, you can actually take it to the next level. So how do you actually identify whether something is momentum boost and cheat form and is going to help you? And how do you identify something that is actual bad form is going to cause injuries in the long term? Well, you can't really know unless you have someone that tells you it specifically, who has done the work to get bad form. All right, we're talking about bad form, bro. What's your best bad form piece of advice to increase progress when it comes to multis?
To multis, bad form?
What do you do with your body to help you make progress, but it's considered cheating?
Train not that wide, not wide enough for multis, and then use the retracted tech. So you basically, you're less wide, but since you're retracted, you'll get lower. And then it trains basically all the same muscles except your scapula. So if you train retracted multis, you can strengthen everything. You should just train good form like multis with like bend, so your scapula still gets stronger. But it's so you can still strengthen stuff, and it's like more fun. You can still do the movement.
What's one piece of bad form technique that you have implemented that actually got you injured and didn't progress from?
That actually got me injured. I haven't progressed from. I've like healed most of my injuries, but I fucked up my shoulder pretty bad because I wasn't training any scapula while I was doing my retracted mode. So I was basically, even in my banded mode, I was still doing retracted, and that basically messed up my shoulder and it injured me for like ages.
Yeah.
I'm back now because I started training my scapula.
Yeah, you need that balance. You can't just do bad form and neglect the good form work, but there's a time and a place to do it. So like, most of the time you want to do your good form work on either a separate day or at the start of your workout. So for example, for me, I would do one day where I do a combo and I can just like cheat my form as much as I can. And then on the next day, I'll start my workout by doing heavy bands, full planche holds, and just work on trying to get that technique right. But then within the workout itself, I'll do clean form at the start of one day, and then towards the end of that set or that day, I'm doing bad form, momentum and kipping and that kind of stuff. And another day, I might start off with doing bad form and then I'll do clean work, but the clean work isn't so much skill-based. It's more just conditioning, but like with clean activations, working on the right muscles, having the right cues. So what does that look like from exercise to exercise? I can't really say unless you give me a specific example, because it's just so broad. There's so many little things that you can do. But whenever I give my clients advice for bad form, I usually implement it in pushing exercises, not so much pulling exercises, because pushing is more forgiving than pulling, because you can use so many tiny little tricks like elbow hook, whip tech, retraction, scorpion back, to like elevate your 90-degree push-up practice, your handstand push-ups, your planche, and so on and so forth. But for front lever and for muscle-ups, like when you do bad form, it could be either no progress or you'll get injured really easily. So for muscle-ups, if you do bad form, which is chicken wing, then there's no way that the benefits of doing chicken wing is going to outweigh the injury risk, okay? That's one example. For front lever, if you do bad form, and the method that you use for bad form is half range of motion, so not doing full ROM, it's not going to be as effective as if you do half ROM planche push-ups compared to doing front lever half ROM pull-ups, because the top range is the hardest part for front lever, you know, getting the bar to touch your waist. And so you really need every single exercise that you do for front lever to touch the bar no matter what. But the type of cheat form that you can do for front lever would be like momentum or piking your hips. But that's pretty much it, you know? So use bad form when necessary, but also try to just be logical about it. Identify whether this bad form is going to be worth the injury risk. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. Like, if you want me to help you formulate some strategies on how you can use bad form to excel in the move that you're currently stuck on, then you can use the link down below and book a call with me. I'll have a look at your clips. I'll give you some advice and we can go from there. But besides that, stay safe out there and make sure that you don't stall in progress. Doing bad form and using cheating and using momentum is going to be better than doing nothing and not having enough volume. So that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, bro. So what's your name?
My name is Young.
Yan. Yan?
Young.
Young. All right, yeah. Sick, bro. Basically, this video is about bad form. So, like, how has doing bad form helped you progress in terms of 90-degree handstand push-ups?
In 90-degree handstand push-ups, well, first of all, the 90-degree handstand push-up is really hard in terms of form because it's a lot of different moves together. You've got the handstand, you've got like a handstand push-up, and you've got a 90-degree hold in there.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of the hardest things about putting it all together is having perfect form in all three aspects. So when you want to do it at the beginning, it's hard to get all three aspects correct, but you know, if you got a really good handstand push-up, I think you can try to do the handstand push-up portion in really good form. But if your 90-degree is not there just yet, then don't be afraid to pike it a little bit and use a bit of momentum.
Why do you think the pike helps with connecting the movement right now?
Yeah, because I would say like the 90-degree hold at the bottom, if you're holding it perfectly straight, then you really have no momentum to push it all the way back up, and that's probably the hardest sticking point. Yeah. Getting the bottom part through. But once you get used to it, then you can probably clean it up.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, similar with me. Like I told you to do bad form because when I first started, like it just made no sense because it's like it feels impossible when you get in the bottom and you just don't move. Yeah. But like if you get like that tiny bit of progress just by like cheating, doing that momentum and getting 2 reps instead of just doing 0, you're more likely to hold on to that as motivation, and you're just like it sells a journey rather than just not doing it at all.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and like if you're doing a gym and like people are watching, right? Like you'd rather be the guy that does messy form 2 reps in 90-degree than to just be falling on his stomach after each handstand attempt, you know?
It happens at every stage, whether you're a beginner or you're a pro. And there's always new moves that you got to start trying, and you're always a beginner whenever you're learning a new move.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Use bad form as long as it's not going to be detrimental to like your joints and causing injury. But thanks, bro.
So let's go.
Crushed it. Fuck, that counts as 2, bro. That counts as 2.